Number 13, Malachi Moore. Now, brother, I don't know you, but I'm not trying to disrespect you. But what you did last night on that football field was complete and utter bullshit. You are a two-time captain, somebody who has your hand and footprint at Denny Chimes. Well, how did you show up yesterday? The only thing I remember seeing from you is slamming the guy's head on the ground, punching yourself, throwing your mouthpiece, kicking a foot in front, like not even in a way of like, okay, nobody's looking. Like, I'm bigger than the game. I'm bigger than the team. I'm bigger than this moment. Hey, everybody look at me. Look at how pissed off I am. Look at what I got to say about it.
Alright, I'm pretty sure all of you already know about the Malachi Moore situation. If not, here's a pretty quick summary of everything that is going on. Alabama lost to Vandy. Malachi Moore was upset after the game, or should I say during the game, and there's some things many people, including myself, didn't like. And I've been on record saying that this situation needs to be addressed, and however Coach KD decides to address it, I'm fine with it. I'm not advocating for a suspension, but on the flip side, I would not have been mad if he did get suspended. We know right now that he is not getting suspended because Coach KD came out and spoke on this very situation.
And was this a situation where a suspension would be considered?
No, we have handled it, and I'm just going to say this about Malachi. You know, what he did, he has gone above and beyond in taking ownership in it. And this is pretty much immediately after the game to this morning. Things that are all prompted by him, but also part of just our conversations. I think the thing I want to make sure Bama fans know is that this guy has been rock solid and been at a critical piece, along with others, there are some others as well, of keeping this thing together since January.
The thing that would have made me more upset than anything would have been if this situation was not addressed at all. Why would I be upset, you say? Because I hold Malachi Moore to a different standard, and I was more disappointed than I was upset when I saw what happened. If it would have been one of those young guys, I would have understood it more, and that is when Malachi Moore steps in as the team leader and handles that. But Malachi Moore, in this particular situation, is the captain of the team. He sets the example for the young guys on the team. I love his passion. I love the fact that he loves Alabama, and I truly believe that. I'm not rooting against him. I'm even looking forward to seeing his career as he continues to play, because I believe he will be in the NFL. But plays like this could potentially hurt your draft stock, and I don't want to see that for him at all. I will continue to follow him in the future. I think he's going to be fine in the NFL. But with that being said, what he did was a big deal in my opinion, because this team is so young, and we have to think about not only this year but years to come. And doing things like this in a game while the young guys are watching isn't a good look. Imagine if something like this happens during a key moment in the game and a penalty loses that game for you. I expect Malachi Moore to put the other guys in line when they act out, because in football emotions get high and things happen, and he addressed that in his apology. And this is what it says: I want to apologize to my teammates, our coaches, the fans, our alumni, and my family for the way I acted Saturday. I was completely out of line. I let the emotions of the game get the best of me and put myself before the team. As a two-time captain and a fifth-year player, I understand the standard that we are expected to live up to at Alabama, and I failed to do so by acting in a selfish and unacceptable manner. I came back this season to represent myself, this team, and this university because it means something to me. I believe that. I really do believe he loves Alabama, and that's why his emotions got so high. But let's continue. I am blessed to be able to wear the A on my chest, and I know all that comes with the responsibility of representing this program. I will do better to uphold the Alabama standard moving forward, and I will continue to work and improve while conducting myself in a first-class manner. I'm fine with the response, but I want to address a few things that have been going on in the internet space. Now, I disagree with what he did. Throwing a mouthpiece is no big deal in the grand scheme of things. Kicking the football is a horrible look, but I can also let that go. But slamming a guy's helmet after the play, that's not right. And for people who are saying, oh man, y'all just soft, y'all don't know ball. No, y'all not taking this serious enough. And I'm not just talking about this situation with Malachi Moore. This goes for anybody who does something like this on the field. This could have potentially gave him a concussion. And maybe, just maybe, it's because I am a medical professional. I look at this situation totally different. But one concussion can change your life forever. Some people respond well to having a concussion. And when I say well, I'm saying they recover, they heal pretty well, and they may never have another concussion again. But when you have that one concussion, it makes it easier for you to be susceptible to having another concussion. Let's look at this a little bit different because I have a perfect situation for you. Let's look at our guy, Tua Tagovailoa, in Miami right now. It always saddens me to talk about Tua because we know the situation that he's going through with his concussions, but look at it from that perspective. Imagine if there was somebody like Tua whose head he thrown into the ground. So this does not just go for Malachi Moore. This goes for anybody who does something like that after a play. I don't think it's right, and I don't think it should be tolerated. But the other stuff, I can let that go. It's high emotions, but I don't like where you put guys in situations where they could potentially get hurt. That's why I draw the line. But even though Malachi Moore's emotions took over, we know this. But on the flip side, I don't like people going for or assassinating his character, because what I'm not going to do and what I'm not going to say is that I believe that Malachi Moore is some bad guy all of a sudden. Is this a stain in many people's eyes? Yes, but at the same time, I've seen Malachi Moore handle himself very, very well for multiple years now. So this one situation is one off. I'm not going to assassinate his character just off of this. And I love the passion, I love the emotion, but you may disagree. I think it's just the wrong time and the wrong way to display that passion and emotion, because personally, I don't like it when you see that emotion after the game is already over, when you really did not see that same emotion while the game was still in hand. Football is an emotional sport. I've played it, and the way that the NFL is set up, they already take so much emotion out of the game. So college football is a breath of fresh air in that regard, but I don't like some of the comments like this. Malachi Moore is an enormous ass, a jerk, a malicious crybaby. He's a dirty player who should be suspended for multiple games. The fact that he is not should be an embarrassment to the entirety of Alabama. Now, I don't think Malachi Moore is a dirty player. I played with guys who let their emotions get the best of them at times, but were the nicest guys off the field and were also some of the best guys on the field. Most of the time when you're playing football, your emotions are on your sleeve. Your emotions are everywhere during the course of a game, and I don't believe that Malachi Moore is a dirty player or a bad person. But let's look at some more comments. Difference between Saban and DeBoer. Number 13, Malachi Moore would not have a locker in the morning if Saban was the head coach. Now, that is also not true, because one thing that Coach Saban did not like doing was kicking guys off the team. He has stated that on multiple times, and things like this have happened with Saban being the coach. So let's just run a few of those.
Yeah, he lost his cool, ended up punching a Georgia player. Yeah. Right there. They're upset because they're both making calls, and McCarron's trying to overrule Barrett Jones.
So to say that this would not have happened if Saban was the coach, I'm not sure. Now, I do believe this, though. I don't think Saban would have lost to Vandy. I'm going to keep it a buck. But anyways, let's continue. This guy right here says, so Malachi Moore, after embarrassing the tradition of Alabama publicly, zero class, then defies Womack, turns the boy into a oh lord, and sends Brett Hubbard onto the bench. I won't support this soon. The boy is gone. The better for Alabama. Now, look, I believe in Coach KD. Now, has his start been perfect? No, it was pretty good up until the second half of the Georgia game, but right now it's not looking good. But I still believe in Coach KD. We're not going to have this coaching carousel go on in Alabama, I don't believe, but we shall see. At the end of the day, though, as of right now, still rocking with Coach KD. Should Malachi Moore have gotten off the field right then? Yes, if your coach tells you to get off the field, you get off the field. But we have seen before where guys refuse to get off the field because they want to be in there during those emotional moments. But at the end of the day, is he wrong for this? Yes. Is it that big of a deal? No. Should it be addressed behind closed doors where we can't see? Yes, it should. Here's a guy that kind of is saying what I'm saying, but in a way I disagree with a little bit. The game was over. Glad Malachi Moore was upset. Too bad that didn't happen during the game. That's my biggest gripe. Moore should sit for 2 games. 2 games seems excessive to me, but hey, if you do something, you cannot complain about the consequences of your actions. I'm big on that. So if Coach KD was to come out and say that, I couldn't get mad at all. Need to leave the boy alone right now. Is 1 game quick acting like, oh Lord. Anyways, this guy right here is the last comment that I'm going to show. Apparently, he is like a professor or something at the University of Alabama. Mark Mayfield right here says, agreed. And he's not saying agreed to the educator guy. He will respond to somebody else, but it says agreed. Malachi Moore is one of the best students I've had in a class. As you mentioned, he made a mistake and owned it. This is a guy who arrives 15 minutes early every class, who does excellent work and has had such a positive impact at UA. 1 mistake won't change this. And I think that's the perspective that most people are coming from. But at the same time, a lot of people are very upset about what happened at the end of the game. And I can't blame them. One thing that you can do is control your actions. But what you cannot do is control the response to your actions. And that's simply what we're witnessing and watching right here. And I'll end the conversation by saying this. One, my biggest gripe with all of this is that it was at the end of the game that emotion, that passion is kind of wasted. I would have loved to see more of that when the game was still going on. Maybe it would have sparked a fire in some of the other guys to have them not be so laid back, so lackluster during the entirety of this game. And for two, with the youth on the team, this is a very young team. We're counting on a guy like Malachi Moore to be level-headed. This culture is not established yet. The Kalen DeBoer Alabama culture is still young and fragile, and it's in a different type of era in college football. And even though these situations are not new for Alabama, they have happened with Saban before. As I have showed you guys, there is still a difference when this happened with Saban. Deep down, those guys knew that Saban didn't play. It was a different culture, a different identity when Saban was the head coach. And even though you did something, you knew something could potentially come after that. It was a different aura, a different mystique. It was Nick Saban, and this is completely different. We are in uncharted territory. That's why I think a lot of people need to calm down. But at the same time, accountability is still accountability. Those guys knew Saban didn't play. They knew that. Even though their emotions took over in that moment, Saban was still Saban. That's my opinion on this entire situation. I'll leave this video by saying this. Do I think some people are going too hard? Yes. But at the same time, is it as simple as some people are making it by saying a lot of people are just being soft on this situation? No. But for me, I wanted to see the situation addressed. And with this apology, I got exactly what I wanted to see. I trust Coach KD to handle this as he sees fit internally, because I honestly believe everything should not be something that we could see. We may not know what he does. We may not know how it's handled, but I think that's how it should be. It's a locker room for a reason. We don't need to know everything that goes down in that locker room. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next one.